Hello, everybody. Hope you all had a good New Year's and Christmas and holidays. Getting back into the swing of things now. This video, I wanted to do a quick update on a couple of laws that affect pretty much all business owners, small business owners. The first one is the one that's I've done several videos on already, and that's the BOI reporting. I just wanted to do a quick update on that. So this is for the Corporate Transparency Act, the BOI, or the Beneficial Owner Information Report. It is filed through FinCEN. It is free to file if you go to fincen.gov/BOI. Takes about 5 minutes to file. Honestly, the hardest part is taking a picture of your driver's license and uploading it, which is actually very simple. Most LLC, single member LLCs, whether your taxed as an S corporation, disregarded entity, well, you wouldn't be a partnership, but any partnership as well that's an LLC with maybe a couple owners, or a sole proprietorship that's registered as an LLC. This act, this filing system applies to you. Current status of it, this has been going back and forth multiple times. Different federal district courts are ruling it unconstitutional. It has not gone to the Supreme Court yet, but it keeps going back and forth. So Texas ruled it was unconstitutional. Well, first I think it was Alabama ruled it as unconstitutional. But only the people that were in that class action lawsuit were exempt from filing. Then Texas ruled it was unconstitutional. That put a national stay on it. Apparently, that national stay was lifted. Then there was another federal district court ruling which put another stay on it. As of right now, as far as I know, there is currently a stay on it, so you are not required to file. Please verify that information before you take it as what you're going to do. I am a CPA. The state of Idaho, where I am licensed and I practice, has declared that this is considered practicing law for me to advise or help my clients file it. So I am not advising you on this. I am just giving you the current generic information as I know it. If you want to know if you need to file or not, you need to consult an attorney. Personally, I filed for all the LLCs that I am a beneficial owner of, and there's a couple of them. So my personal real estate holding company, my CPA firm, and a few others, nonprofit that I own, and a few other things. I filed merely because I don't trust the federal government. Regardless of the stays that are getting put on it, until it has gone to the Supreme Court and the act has been ruled as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court as the highest law in the land, I have a feeling that regardless of who the president is or what happens with this or anything, I don't care about administration and politics. My stance on this is at some point the federal government, if they win and this does become a law, they're going to backdate the penalties, which are $500 a day for failure to file. This is an act that is attacking small business. That's my personal belief. So I just went ahead and filed regardless of the stays because I voluntarily filed with the idea that I don't trust the federal government, and I would rather file be in compliance personally than to have to deal with any backlash once if the Treasury Department and FinCEN actually wins this. 99% of LLCs out there, the government already has your information. If you are a single member LLC correctly filing your tax return, the government already knows you are the beneficial owner of this company. And it is my understanding that every single driver's license registered in every single state goes into an FBI federal registry that allows all police officers to pull your driver's license, regardless of what state you have your driver's license in and what state you get pulled over in. So this is all information that the federal government should already have. They're just requiring us to put it into another database. Okay, enough of that soapbox. Here is another tax law that this one is one that I can help with. This one is also a pain, and it is attacking small business. So I think it was 3 years ago, Congress passed a law that requires all intermediary payment processing companies to file a 1099 for anybody that got paid over $600 through their payment processor. Prior to this law, it was $20,000. This gets reported on what is called a 1099-K. Typically, this was for merchant services. So if you ran like a retail business or I guess any business and you took credit card payments through some sort of merchant services such as Stripe, Square, or there's a whole bunch of other ones out there. But basically, this was so that you could take Visa, MasterCard, American Express, credit card payments, or debit card payments. And then if you took over $20,000 in payments, you would get a 1099-K from your merchant services. So Congress changed the threshold down to $600. And basically, what this did is it targeted cash apps. So this is your Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Apple Cash, etc. There's a whole bunch of different ones. And what they are going after is chump change. They are going after hairstylists, nail salons, people providing one-on-one services, hairstylists, those types of maybe some lawn care companies, a few other very, very, very small businesses that are taking payments through Venmo. And so that's who they're targeting, because they feel like that there was unreported taxable income by these very, very, very small mom and pop one man show type businesses. It's chump change. Repercussions of this. So failure to file a 1099 is on the company that is required to file the 1099. So the penalty gets assessed to who they believe was required to file the 1099. So here's what happened. One, IRS wasn't even capable of administering this law. They didn't have the infrastructure and computer systems to handle the volume of 1099-Ks that were going to be filed. So they delayed that law by 1 year, which went to 2024. Or I'm sorry, 2023. So this law was passed in 2022 to start in 2022. They delayed it until 2023. In 2023, the IRS came out and said, we still can't handle the volume of transactions or 1099-Ks that will get reported. So they made the threshold to come in. They're phasing it in. So last year it was $5,000. And then they said it was going to go to $600 for 2024. I don't know if that's still going to be the case. Right now, the IRS's system is down for their annual maintenance. This is when they put in this new type of infrastructure and update their computer systems. They might come out January 15th and say they're staying that phase in again for another year. They're delaying it for another year. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, everyone that got over $600 business earned income should be getting a 1099-K. And those 1099-Ks should get filed by the intermediary payment processing companies such as Zelle, Venmo, PayPal Cash, whatever, right? Okay, ramifications of this. If you have a contractor working for you and you pay them through this third-party cash app, you do not file a 1099 for them. Why? Because you're going to duplicate their income. They're going to get a 1099-K from Venmo that says you made $600 or plus whatever you actually paid them. And then you're going to give them a 1099 saying miscellaneous or NEC saying, we just paid you $600 plus, so here's your 1099. And now the IRS is going to think they have double the revenue. And you just hurt your contractors. So if you pay your contractors through any cash app or any third party intermediary, they are required to file the 1099. per IRS code and congressional law. The only time you need to file a 1099 for a third-party contractor now is if you pay them by check, cash, direct wire transfer, or you're using a payroll processor where you have total control over filing. Most payroll processors, such as ADP, Gusto, Paychex, Payroll Plus, QuickBooks Online Payroll, they all typically have automated tax filing and they will file your 1099 for you. You should talk to your tax advisor if you need to file a 1099. But for the most part, you do not file 1099s for contractors unless you paid them directly. They will get a 1099 from their Cash App. The other thing about 1099 rules is you do not file a 1099 for a corporation or S corporation. So if you have a contractor who is taxed as an S corporation, you don't file a 1099 for them. The only exception to that is attorneys. Attorneys got a nice little carve out because the IRS hates attorneys. So they are still required to get 1099. So if you used any attorney services and you paid them via check or you paid them cash, or ACH or wire transfer, then you need to file a 1099 for them. If you paid them through debit or credit card, it went through a third-party payment processor, they will get the 1099 through that payment processor. Other ramification. So here's the ramification that's going to affect everyone. Let's say, little Joey got some Christmas money or birthday money from their grandma who paid them through Venmo, and through Christmas and birthday, let's say they got over $600. Little Joey may or may not get a 1099 for that gift money. Why? So Venmo has set up a business account. I think Zelle has too, and a few of the others. They've set up business accounts, and they told everyone, hey, you need to sign up for the business account if you have a business, but then they added a fee to it, right? So if you try to do things correctly, you're going to owe money to Venmo on every single transaction that's processed. So what did most people do? They went and still opened a personal account so that they wouldn't have to pay Venmo fees. Okay, so ramifications. Venmo goes, okay, we're only issuing 1099s to all the business accounts. We're not issuing 1099s to personal accounts. The IRS goes, ha ha ha, congratulations, Venmo. We're now auditing you. And they go through every single account on Venmo, only to discover that all these little businesses still use personal Venmo accounts instead of signing up for the business account. And guess who gets penalized? The taxpayer's responsibility is to make sure they report total income. All revenue you received is required to be reported to the IRS. You can take expenses on it, right? That's on the actual taxpayer. Venmo's responsibility is to file the 1099 for the check system that the IRS uses. If they fail to file the 1099 when the IRS audits them and determines that a 1099 should have been filed, Venmo gets penalized for that because they failed to file the 1099. Penalties on 1099s can skyrocket very fast. So, ramifications, what's going to happen? Venmo is either going to do a cover their butt and file 1099s on anyone, regardless of whether they have the business account or individual account, that got over $600 throughout the year. Okay, so that's one ramification. That means little Joey just got a 1099 saying he has taxable income because he received gift money for the holidays and his birthday. Well, what are we going to do? You need to talk to your tax advisor. There are ways to report that as gift income and back it out of your tax return. And there's other ways that you can get aggressive on it. So like you could turn it into a business and say, well, I got a 1099 NEC or a 1099K that says I made business income. Now I'm going to report some expenses on it, such as a home office deduction, and I'm in the business of getting gifts, I guess. And so now you can create a loss to lower your W-2 taxes. Those are a couple of things that, if you get a 1099 because you got gift money, is what you can do. The other thing is, the other ramification is those penalties that Venmo gets might put Venmo out of business. So, what are we all looking for? We're all looking for ways to hide money from the IRS. So, we've been using Venmo. And I'm not saying we as in, me or my clients. I'm saying we as a population are looking for ways to hide money from Uncle Sam. So, we've been using Venmo for that, which is why the law got passed. They made the threshold $600. Ramifications of this could be that Venmo gets too many penalties, they close down, they go bankrupt because of the penalties, or people start getting these 1099s, and so they find other ways of receiving non-trackable payments like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or something, right? So that you don't get 1099 when you get gift money, or the hairstylist gets paid through Bitcoin so that she doesn't get a 1099, he or she doesn't get a 1099 and doesn't have to report the income. Again, well, let me rephrase that. You still have to report it, you just choose not to and carry that risk. That's really what I mean, right? Like, so these are some of the issues that are going to come out in the next couple of years because of this 1099, the unseen consequences of tax law or laws that Congress passes. There's going to be other ramifications. So basically, Zelle, my guess is Zelle, Venmo, PayPal Cash, their days are numbered. And they're just going to become a merchant services for small businesses. People are going to quit using them because they have to file 1099. So that's kind of what I see happening. We'll see how it actually plays out. But yes, general rule for 1099s is if you're a small business owner and you're wondering if you have to file 1099s, you only file 1099s for people you paid cash, check, wire transfer, ACH, or you used a PayPal or a payroll processor that isn't automatically filing your 1099s for you. Those are the only times that you file a 1099 because, in the digital world, most stuff is paid by electronic funds transfer using a debit card or a credit card. Those are running through a payment processor. They're going to file a 1099K, or you're paying through a cash app. And those cash apps are going to file the 1099. So I actually file very, very few 1099s anymore. It's not even really something I overly ask for anymore. I send out a couple reminder emails because honestly, I probably file less than 50 1099s a year, and I have a lot of clients. And it's because they're all paying through cash apps or they're using payroll software to pay their contractors. Anyway, so that is an update on the BOI and the update on 1099s for small business owners. Have a great weekend. See you next time.